Welcome everybody. Welcome to this another edition of the Bulls Corner and Ranger Roundup. We are live as we are going to be recapping two games tonight, folks. Game one of the Eastern Conference second round, the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA, and game three of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs as the New York Rangers went up against the Washington Capitals. As always, I'm alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock, our very special guest. Let's dive right into the Bulls corner first. And Chicago Bulls fans, you have a reason to celebrate tonight. A major victory, 99 to 92. The Bulls win Game 1, stealing home court advantage away from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And let me just say it like this. This was absolutely, if you look at how the game played out, you would have thought Chicago basically looked really good. They dominated the game most of the night. They never trailed at all in this entire game. And the Bulls actually won this game because of some great shooting. Their three-point shooting, the one of the things that we always were ripping about Chicago was absolutely red hot tonight. They were hitting their threes, free throw wise, not, I mean, they did a decent job on the free throw line. They didn't get to the line that often, but they won the rebounding battle, they won the assist battle, and the one Achilles heel that was Chicago, because of the fact that they were making so many turnovers, yeah, and they were averaging almost 20, 18, 20. They only had 10 turnovers in the entire game. So that's a big testament to Chicago definitely getting back to the basics, and then to stymie really the two best players out there. They didn't have to deal with Kevin Love because remember Love suffered a dislocated shoulder, so he's out for the series. But the two guys that they had to keep in check was Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. Unfortunately, Kyrie did kind of get away and went off for 30. However, LeBron James was 9 for 22 shooting, only 19 points, which is actually a major plus. Derrick Rose led the way with 25 points. Pau Gasol 21 points. Jimmy Butler had 20 points in the game. Noah was held scoreless, but he had 9 rebounds in the game. And Mike Dunleavy, I mean, you want to talk about clutch shooting, man. He had 14 points, but the most important thing was he was 3 for 4 behind the arc, and he was red hot tonight, to say the very least. Um, for the Cavaliers, of course, Kyrie Irving was the high man. Iman Shumpert coming off the bench was normally a bench player, but definitely started tonight in place of J.R. Smith, who's suspended for the first two games. He had 22 points. LeBron James 19 points. But Mike Miller and Timothy Mozgov were basically nowhere to be seen. And then, of course, the bench of Chicago was a lot better than the bench of the Cavaliers, and that's one thing that Chicago really will have the advantage of in this series. Taj Gibson had 8 points. Kirk Heinrich had 6 points. Aaron Brooks had 5 points, and Nico Mirotic. Unfortunately, Nico didn't get on the board, but he was pretty much not really a non-factor in this game. Chicago shot literally 50% from the game. Like I said, 10 of 18 from 3-point range. Man, they were not hitting their threes tonight. 7 of 26. They only could muster 27%, but they were a lot better on their free throw line, 17 to 19. But more importantly, the Bulls dictated the pace. They were winning. They didn't really win all the quarters that they needed to win, but when it came to the clutch moments, they had a 16-point lead at one point. Cleveland came back, but Chicago never, ever, ever lost their cool, lost their mental down deep. They played tremendous team defense when they needed it the most, and the Chicago Bulls steals game one and wins to win this series. They needed it to win this game. Mission accomplished. Anthony, it is yours.
Yes, sir. Hello, friends. It's Anthony Florio here for this double edition of the Bulls Corner and the Rangers Roundup. Again, delighted to be here as always. Delighted to have you with us as well, and we're also delighted to have Michael Bullock joining us tonight. Um, as per our little decree there, Bullock will be joining us for these shows only if it coincides with a Monday Night Wrestling Forum or a Friday Night Strictly Sports. So we're glad to have him here with us tonight. So yeah, let's dive right in. I mean, what a win for the Chicago Bulls tonight. It turned out to be a great Monday here. I mean, as the old saying goes, as the old Meatloaf song goes, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I mean, we're coming off a damn good Monday Night Raw tonight, which we all rated. Well, Fletcher rated it 7.5 to 8 out of 10, where myself, Bullock, and Derek rated it, 9 out of 10. Even though I was more like 8.5 to 9, but still a great Monday Night Raw. We got this win tonight by the Chicago Bulls. Um, the lone low light, unfortunately, the one that I wanted the most. But we'll get into that in a short. But nonetheless, what a win for the Chicago Bulls here tonight. I mean, and they took full advantage. They took full advantage of Kevin Love. Kevin Love out for the remainder of the postseason. He's out 4 to 6 months with the shoulder injury that he suffered against Michael Bullock's Celtics in that clinching Game 4 in the Boston Garden last Sunday. And then J.R. Smith, they took advantage of J.R. Smith being suspended for the first 2 games because of his Dinkelberg and Noggin Diva antics during that very same game against Jay Crowder. So yeah, Chicago took full advantage of it. They had a big lead early going, led by as many as 16, like Fletch said. And then, yeah, they never really let Cleveland get back into the game. And yeah, if Kevin Love had been playing, if Kevin Love had been around, and if J.R. Smith had been around, do you think Chicago wins this game tonight? I really don't think so. But yeah, they took full advantage of it, and yeah, mission accomplished indeed. And you know, Derrick Rose, 25 and 38 and a half, 5 rebounds and 5 assists to go with that. Pau Gasol had 21 along with 10 rebounds and 4 assists. Noah had the 9 rebounds, like Fletch mentioned. Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets. Big game for him tonight, 20 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds on his end. Dunleavy, like Fletch said, had a great game as well, 14 points with 7 rebounds and 2 assists. And yeah, I mean, the bench guys, bench guys didn't really do much, but the starters, they definitely, were the catalyst in this win tonight. And Fletch's former Dookie, of course, Kyrie Irving, 30. He had 30 to go with 6 assists. LeBron had almost had a triple-double. He had 19 points with 15 rebounds and 9 assists. Shumpert, filling. I guess he's the guy who's going to be filling in for J.R. Smith, 22 for him. And those are really the high guys. I mean, other than that, Mozgov only had 9. Dellavedova had 5. Tristan Thompson 4, and Mike Miller 3, and James Jones and Sean Marion off the score sheets. So yeah, Chicago shot an even 50%. Whereas Cleveland had 42%. The three-point range, that was the major killer. 55.6% for Chicago, only 27% for Cleveland. Cleveland did have the advantage on the free throws, though. I won't lie on that. 89.5% to only 56.3% for Chicago. A turnover battle, both teams, it was pretty much even. Chicago had 10 turnovers. Cleveland only had 9. 6 of them by LeBron. That's very uncharacteristic of the so-called best player in the world. Yeah. And rebound edge, that went to Chicago slightly, 42 to 39 in the total rebounds. And no technical fouls, thankfully. And time of the game, 2 hours and 22 minutes. But yeah, Rose was fantastic tonight. Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets finally had that big game we've been wanting from him for a while. Gasol was his usual double-double. We got the usual double-double out of him. That's practically a guarantee every game. Dunleavy played a fantastic game tonight as well, and yeah, and the bench guys didn't really do much, like I said, but the starters were definitely the catalyst in this win, and Cleveland definitely, they looked rough tonight. I mean, yeah, Irving had the 30, but Shumpert, filled in nicely for J.R. Smith, and LeBron had his usual almost triple double, but they definitely looked like a team that was lost in the headlights. I mean, this was their first game in 8 days. They hadn't played since last Sunday, April 26th. Whereas Chicago, you know, they just played the other day. Well, Thursday night actually. Chicago only coming off, I believe, 3 days of rest, whereas Cleveland was coming off a week's worth of rest. And and it's almost very similar to the start of the Ranger Capitals series. I mean, we talked about how the Rangers were the more rested team, but Washington came in and played with a sense of urgency. And they came in with only 2 days of rest going into game one, whereas the Rangers had 5 days rest. And Washington, like I said, stole game one, and unfortunately that series is unfortunately it's going the way I honestly was thinking it was going to go because you know how scared to death I am of the Caps, and we're going to get more into that in a moment. But for the Chicago Bulls, I mean, a great win for them, and I'm definitely more than pleased with this win. They've stolen the home court advantage, and I am more than delighted with that outcome. I mean, D Rose was great, Jimmy Buckets was great, Pau Gasol, great as usual. Dunleavy, fantastic effort from him. I mean, another former Dookie, a la Michael Flecha. And, yeah, Cleveland definitely looked like a different team. They didn't look like that dominant team that they had been, previously. And that's what happens when you lose Kevin Love for the rest of the postseason and you lose another core player in J.R. Smith, a 2-game suspension. And, yeah, so that pretty much takes care of that. So game two of this series, of course, on Wednesday night, right back there in Cleveland. And then game three shifts to the Madhouse on Madison for Friday. So another triple indemnity night, now that I think about it, because the Rangers are going to be on there too. And then game four, Mother's Day afternoon. You can wish Mom well on Mother's Day. And that's the series for now, since we have a 1-0 lead. But I'm just going to go up till then. But I'll break down the rest of the series when and if Cleveland gets back in it. So, but Cleveland definitely needs to win. It's definitely a must-win situation on Wednesday, because if they go to Chicago down 0-2, they could be in some big-time trouble. And it could definitely be a welcome sight for Chicago Bulls fans. I mean, they've been waiting so long for this. I mean, 1998, the last time they went all the way and won the championship, and also the last time they went to the finals. Of course, 2011, they nearly went back there in 2011, but they lost in the conference finals to LeBron and those overhyped, overrated Miami Heat. So that's really all there is to say about it. So more than delighted with this win tonight. I'm hoping they can keep the momentum going into game two on Wednesday night. And like I said, it's a must-win for Cleveland, because if Cleveland loses and goes down 0-2, especially heading to Chicago, woo, this series could end up going a lot more differently than what many people thought. A lot of people say, oh, Cleveland's going to have an easy time with them. Oh, no, they're not having an easy time. If Chicago goes home up 2-0, it could be the other way around. And quite frankly, I would be damn fine with that. So, great job, Chicago. Great win tonight. Very pleased. So with that said, Michael Bullock, let's get your thoughts on this game one tonight. This great win by the Chicago Bulls in Cleveland tonight.
Bullet?
Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Oh yes, thank you very much, Anthony Florio. Yes, this is the Phenom, and this is Mike Bullock here for another edition of the Bulls Corner and the Rangers Roundup. Yes, talking about the Chicago Bulls getting a huge win over the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight, 99-92, stealing the home court advantage away from the Cavs, and Derrick Rose and Pau Gasol really helped out in the effort to beat the short-handed Cavs. Of course, Kevin Love done for the postseason with that shoulder injury. J.R. Smith being suspended the first 2 games because of his noggin diva moment. But yeah, yeah, so Chicago basically dominated the first quarter, 27-15, and then at the end of the first half, it was basically 49-44. Yeah, and then the third quarter, Chicago really went off, scoring 32 points to Cleveland's 26. And then Cleveland outscored Chicago 22-18 in that fourth quarter, but in the end, it wasn't enough as Chicago took game one, and yeah, of course, Pau Gasol and Derrick Rose led the way, of course, with 25 points, 11 of 26 from the field, 3 of 6 from three-point range. Yeah, and Pau Gasol had a double-double with 21 points and 10 rebounds, 10 of 16 from the field. Jimmy Butler, 20 points and 7 of 16 from the field. And Mike Dunleavy, like you said, he even had a nice game with 14 points and 3 of 4 from the field. Yeah, so, and then of course for the Cavs, of course, Kyrie Irving went off with 30 points from the field and was perfect from the free throw range, 9 of 9. LeBron James, 19 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, and yeah, one more assist, he would have had a triple-double. And Iman Shumpert had 22 points, so yeah, when it comes to taking a look at the team stats, Chicago dominated in field goals made, shooting 50%, 3-point field goals made, that goes to Chicago, shooting 55% from there. Free throws made, 9 to 16, that's 56%. 42 total rebounds. Both teams had 11 offensive rebounds, but the rebounding edge went to Chicago. The edge goes to Chicago in assists with 23 to Cleveland 17. 7 steals for Chicago to 6 for Cleveland. 6 blocks each for both teams. So Chicago, even with the win, they turned the ball over 10 times. And Chicago also had 4 fast break points and 15 fouls in the games for Chicago to Cleveland 16. So, yeah, so nice win here for Chicago, taking the home court advantage away. The things I think they can do better in Game 2 is limit the turnovers. Yeah, they turned the ball over 10 times, but the thing is, you don't want to turn the ball over, especially when you got someone like LeBron James who could definitely go off on the fast break, no doubt about it. So, yeah, so that's pretty much all I can say. So with that being said, Fletch, let's get to some talk about the New York Rangers.
Yes, indeed. We're going to switch gears now. It's time for the Ranger Roundup, and Ranger fans, oof. You know, we said game one was a heartbreaker. This one is actually going to be a little more harder. The Rangers lose the game by the final score of 1-0. One goal in the second period at 7:31. Jay Beagle, Andre Bobrovsky, and Troy Brower gets the assist, and that was really all the scoring in the game that you really need to know. But if you look at the stats, you would think the Rangers would have, they definitely dominated. Shots on goal, especially during the game, 30-22 advantage to New York. But why did the Washington Capitals win this game? It was great defense and Brandon Holtby getting the shutout. He actually ended up getting the shutout, 30 saves in the game, and obviously, there's really nothing more to say. The 3 stars of the game, Henrik Lundqvist, as he actually, Henrik Lundqvist got Basically 21 saves on 22 shots. The number two star was Jay Beagle, who got the lone goal in the game, and the number one star goes to Brandon Hopi as he got the 30 saves and the victory. And now the Washington Capitals are up 2 games to 1 on the New York Rangers. Game 4 on Wednesday night. New York has to come to play. They need to win this game. You do not want to fall down 3-1 going back to Madison Square Garden. There's really nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Well, I gotta get this out first as a New York Ranger fan. And Fletch, if you wanna join me in on, if you wanna join in on this with me, go ahead. Feel more than free. No, no,
No, no,
no, no,
no,
no,
no.
no. Get the you know what out of here with that stuff. I mean, I teased it on the Wrestling Forum. I'm gonna tease it right here and now before I get into my overall thoughts. New York Rangers are coming to play in Game 4. You heard it here first. And they better come to play in Game 4 because tonight was one of the more piss-poor performances I've seen from this team in a long time. And are you sure this team won the President's Trophy, Flex? They didn't play like it tonight. I don't think they did.
I can't say this was piss poor because of the fact that we really actually dominated the Capitals. It's just
Yeah.
it was an unlucky break. I mean, we had so many unlucky breaks in that game.
Goal. And that
I
goal
mean,
was fluky too.
yeah, I mean, if anything, that goal itself was probably garbage more
Yes.
than anything else.
Yeah, I agree with that. But like I said, Game 4, New York Rangers are coming to play. But remember this, Fletch. Last year against the Pittsburgh Penguins, they fell behind 3-1. What happened? They came back and won the series. So I'm not going to lose faith just yet. I mean, yes, am I scared of the Washington Capitals? You damn right I am. And what's even worse, the team that Michael Flecha is the most scared of is halfway home to the Eastern Conference Finals. Think about that. The Tampa Bay Lightning. Good grief. After what they did against the Montreal Canadiens on Sunday night, ugh. Now I know why Fletch is scared of that team. I get it now. Oh, I get it. So, yeah. But nonetheless, 1-0 was the final. Washington wins it thanks to Beagle at 7:31 of the second. Burakovsky and Brouwer with the assists. I'm surprised it wasn't the big line that got it done, but unsung hero. You know what? We love the unsung heroes. I just wish it was the other way around. But 30-22, the shots in favor of the New York Rangers. 11-7, New York in the first. 9-8, New York in the second, and then 10-7, New York in the third. Both teams only committed 2 penalties each, and both teams went 0 for 2 on the power play. The reason why I said the Rangers were piss poor tonight, Flex. This stat right here. This is what made it piss poor tonight. The face-offs. Washington absolutely dominated on the face-offs to the tune of 40-18.
Yeah, that can't happen.
40-18. That's why I said it was piss poor, Fletch. 69% to only 31%. The hits, that was in favor of the Washington Capitals as well, 39-31. And the block shots, also in favor of the Washington Capitals, 27-12. And that's why the New York Rangers lost this game tonight. Fluky goal, great goaltending by Braden Holtby, and Marty St. Louis, I truly believe I thought he was on the verge of finally getting on the score sheet in the right way, but Brooks Orpik made a fantastic sense of urgency effort to really mess that up for him. If it wasn't for Orpik, I think St. Louis would have scored that. I think Marty St. Louis would have scored, and who knows, the outcome of this game might have been drastically different. But nonetheless, Lundqvist, 21 saves on 22 shots, third star of the night. Beagle with the goal, the number 2 star. Number 1 star, Braden Holtby, 30 saves. And overall thoughts as far as who the best and worst players were, well, when it comes to the New York Rangers, I thought the best player for the Rangers tonight, I'd have to say, was Derek Brassard. I thought Brassard, played a very good game tonight. Girardi, usual good game from him. Kevin Hayes, I thought played a good game tonight. Same for Chris Kreider. I thought Kreider played good tonight. Klein, JT Miller, had a good game as well. Dominic Moore played good. But a couple of the guys didn't really do anything. Yandel, first and foremost, I didn't really see anything impressive out of him. Nash and San Luis still off the score sheet. You know how I am about that. They need to get going on that score sheet.
I actually have to disagree about Nash. Nash actually had 7 shots, and he actually was the high man for the Rangers. It's
Yeah,
just that he just did, some of those opportunities were unlucky.
yeah, just really couldn't get going. But and Lundqvist played fine as well. He just gave up that fluky goal, which was terrible to say the very least. But it is what it is on that. As far as the Washington Capitals go, there are so many great players who played well tonight. You can make an argument for any of them to be, the player of the night. But for me, the player of the night, to me, Matt Niskanen. Niskanen was the guy. 7 block shots tonight. And I definitely have to, give credit where credit is due to Mr. Niskanen. Orpik, he had that big play on San Luis, denying San Luis what I thought was a surefire goal right then and there. Ovechkin played fine as usual as well. Yeah, he may not have found the score sheet this time around, but Ovechkin played a fantastic game tonight. I could say the same for Carl Alsner. He played a great game tonight. Same thing for Nicholas Backstrom. He was fantastic. John Carlson played a fantastic game too. Mike Green, definitely a great effort from him. I mean, any of those guys. And Holtby was fantastic. Holtby stood on his head tonight, 30 saves, shutout. He played fantastic tonight. And even though Beagle had the goal and Brouwer and Burakovsky had the assists, to me, when it comes to the Washington Capitals, far and away Michael Flecha, the best player tonight was Matt Niskanen. That's all there is to say about it. So I'll give the Caps credit where credit is due. A big win for them tonight, 1-0. 9 consecutive games now for the New York Rangers in the Stanley Cup playoffs decided by 1 goal. Amazing. And the outcome not the way I would have liked. I do have those feelings of doubt and nervousness creeping back into my system again, and rightly so. And now Game 4, I mean, you thought Game 2 was a must-win. This one is the real must-win. We do not want to go home down 3-1. Now, remember, the Rangers fell behind 3-1 last year, and they still found a way to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, and that's why I'm coming out here and I'm saying it right now. Wednesday night in Game 4, the New York Rangers are coming to play, and they damn sure better come to play. Because if they don't, our Stanley Cup dreams for the second year in a row are going to go up in smoke. Big-time smoke. And if that happens, you thought I was angry and pissed off last year. That's nothing compared to how angry and pissed off I'm going to be if this team does not win the Stanley Cup. Because I predicted this team was going to win the Stanley Cup going into this whole thing. Because Fletch, you and I know this has been far and away the best Ranger team we've seen in a long time. I mean, better than that 2012 team that had the best record in the East and whatnot. And I can even say better than the team we had last year that nearly won the whole thing last year. Because of the body of work we had. And just as you think this team is down, this team always finds a way to come back. And I am hopeful that they will play like that team again, play with that sense of urgency, don't want to go down 3-1, especially against this team. This team's not the Pittsburgh Penguins. This team is better. Scary better. So fellas, Nash and San Luis, let's find the score sheet first and foremost. And to the other guys, well, that defense. The defense was fine. We just need scoring. That's all we need. We just need a lucky break of our own. That's all we need. So I'll give the Devils their due tonight, but Wednesday night, friends, the New York Rangers are coming to play in Game 4. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a heartbreaker for the New York Rangers. I mean, losing 1-0, and yeah, the only goal given up by Henrik Lundqvist was a goal by Trevor Bauer, Brouwer, I should say.
Jay Beagle. Jay Beagle had the goal.
Oh, Jay Beagle. I'm sorry. Yeah. Long night here. Jay Beagle with the lone goal, and and yes, and that was all they needed. And Braden Holtby with 30 saves in the game. He certainly played a really good game, and yeah, unfortunately the Rangers just couldn't find the net, and yeah, and the stats here, of course, the Rangers did outshoot the Capitals 30-22. The Capitals out hit the Rangers 39-31. 15 giveaways for both teams. 9 takeaways for the Capitals to the Rangers 7, and this is the one that killed the Rangers, and you guys talked about it. Face-offs. 40 face-offs won by the Capitals to the Rangers 18. No, that's pointless. It's unnecessary. It's unacceptable. It's inexcusable. It's irresponsible and borderline reprehensible. I mean,
Amen to that, Bullock.
I
yeah,
agree. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, you. I mean, if they lost the face-off battle by close, I would have been fine with that. But to lose the face-offs by that much, no, that's totally unacceptable. And I do agree. The Rangers, they're coming to play, and the one thing they need to do, they need to win those face-off battles more. They really need to win it more. And that offense, they need to wake up. Martin St. Louis needs to step up. Rick Nash needs to step up. Girardi needs to step up. Hagelin, yeah, and Henrik Lundqvist, he didn't play that bad at all, and he just gave up that one goal. But who knows? He needs to take his game up a notch. So, yeah, Rangers, yeah, this is a must-win for them, and they are coming to play. So, Rangers, you guys need to step up your games, or you're going to have two very pissed off New York Rangers fans here that are not going to be too happy about your performance. So, need to do better, New York Rangers. So, with that being said, Flecha, let's wrap this up.
All right, it's been a long night, definitely, no doubt about that. So this is what's going to happen. Both the Bulls Corner and the Ranger Roundup, we're doing it again on Wednesday night. Myself and Anthony Florio, we're going to be back here. I'm thinking around 10:30, probably 10:30 we'll do this. And we will recap Game 2 of the NBA and Game 4 of the NHL playoff series, and from there, we hope and pray that maybe we'll have a double indemnity celebration this time around. But the Rangers definitely need to come to play, and they need this game. 2-2 going back to New York is a necessity. It's a must, or else who knows? The President's Trophy champion New York Rangers could be on the brink of elimination, and that might be scary for all of the fans because every prognosticator, or the majority of prognosticators, had the New York Rangers winning this entire thing. So who knows what will happen if they go down 3-1. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, as always. So for Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I am Michael Flecha. We say good night as you've been watching a special edition of the Ranger Roundup and Bulls Corner right here on YouTube.com. We'll see you guys Wednesday night at 10:30 for another edition. Until then, have a good night, everybody.